Hello, good night, everyone. Uh, yeah, today I wanted to do something different. First of all, like my mouse is broken, so I actually lost couple of games on my PC, and then I found that I'm largely playing now on my mobile uh, until I find a new mouse. Uh, so what I wanted to do today is do a short stream and maybe review couple of games because I found that. Um, Especially the attack that I used in couple of games. I wanted to study that attack a bit more, and I thought, why not do it on stream? So on chess.com, if you go to learn and openings, right, there is something called as a Traxler counter attack. If you search for Traxler, you will find like multiple. There are many lines here. You can see that there is a classic Traxler counter attack line. Then there is a bishop sacrifice, knight sacrifice. So obviously, like there are different lines here. And this Traxler counter attack, it's largely played to as a counter to the fried liver attack. So fried liver attack is something that a lot of players I find play, especially at my level below 1000. I think that's like one of the first few attacks that people learn. And I'm not ashamed to admit it that I have actually fallen to many a times to a fried liver attack. I've lost many games during my early chess game, and not early actually, even during my 700 and 800 level as well. I've fallen to one of the different variations of fried liver. So I have always like wanted to. I knew the Traxler line, but I never really successfully played it until a couple of games that I played today, and I wanted to review those games. So let's start with this one. So for people who don't know, right, the fried liver attack, like it's a classic attack that white can do, and it's largely because white plays first, so there is an advantage to playing first. So it goes classic like e4 e5 system. Then you bring your knight out to f3, and then this black plays their knight. Then you bring out the white player brings out their bishop, right? And the idea here is, you bring your knight here, and both the both the knight and both the knight and bishop, they both want to attack this square, and essentially protect each other, and then create like a dual attack either on the rook or the queen. So this is the classic theory of fried liver attack. And it's very popular. Like I said, this is one of the first few attacks that a lot of players learn. And even I have used it sometimes successfully, sometimes not, when I'm playing white. But I find that the success rate, it's not that much, and I think good players figure out very early how to avoid it. Like there are a couple of ways to avoid it. Like people play this H play the h7 pawn on h6. So this kind of blocks this square, right? This square is now protected by the pawn. So the knight can't get here, and then that's it. Like your fried liver attack can't continue. Or I've also seen some players, what they do is, they play this line as well. They essentially block this bishop from ever reaching here, right? So they protect this square. So yeah, there are multiple ways to block it, but yeah, so like going forward, so you bring out your knights, then the bishop is out, then another knight is out, and this is where, like, this is the position in which a fried rival attack can be executed, because uh, you basically need this square to be blocked by one of the pieces of white, right? And typically that piece is the knight, because what happens is, if this knight is not outright, then the fried liver attack can't continue, because let's say if I were to if white were to play, let's say I play something else, and if white were to play this, then the queen can simply attack this knight, right? So the attack can't continue, the fried liver attack can't continue. So this is kind of a prerequisite. You need this knight to be out. This knight is not that important, but this is needed for the Traxler counter attack. But this knight, it's like, you absolutely need it here. Now, going forward, obviously, now this knight white's knight will jump on this square. Now, the condition is perfect. As you can see, white has two pieces attacking this square, and obviously, we don't have any way to counter it because my queen can't attack, right? And there is no way to counter that. So, this is where the Traxler variation starts, or the Traxler counter attack starts. So initially, like I said, I have myself fallen many times for this attack. There are many natural moves that come into mind, right? Like for example, black can play this move, attacking the uh, knight here, or one of the, like, even people have played such kind of games, where they take this pawn, essentially thinking that this opens up this path to attack the knight, and then falling for the attack on this piece. So we don't do any of that, right? So in the Traxler variation, what you essentially want to do is when white reaches this position, right? So they have a e4 pawn, right? They have their bishop on this square, and then they have their knight on g5. So once this position is achieved, what you want at this position is you want one of your knights on this square, on the f6 square, and you want another knight on your c6 square, right? And again, there are many lines like we saw of the Traxler variation. So yeah, there are many multiple variations, and I'm not going to claim that I have learned them all. But the line that I used here, right, like the knight sacrifice line, I think like it's a very straightforward and natural line to play. So, like I said, what we want to do is we want to get this bishop out on this square, and you will see why this is important, right? Like, if you don't get this bishop out, I don't think you can execute any counter attack, because, like, if you play this move, for example, right, your bishop can't get out. This piece blocks this line completely. So, what you want to do is you first want to bring your bishop out, and then you can play this. Actually, this is one of the main lines of Traxler. I did play this in this game, but after studying for a bit, I found that this is actually one of the main lines. If in the next move, when this bishop is played, you attack and then you move this pawn out. But okay, I'm going ahead of myself. So this is the next move that I did, and here, White, like I said, had the perfect condition. They had their bishop, knight correctly placed, pawn correctly placed, bishop correctly placed, and they had perfect things to execute this attack. So they took this pawn, and obviously there is now a fork against my queen and this rook, and this bishop is protecting, right? So we can't really take this knight. So you have to choose between saving the rook or saving the queen. And obviously, naturally, everybody will save the queen. So the Traxler variation is like this. Yeah, instead of protecting your queen, you do a crazy move where you basically attack the knight, right? So here as well, like I said, the main line is to directly attack the king and give a check. But I think I delayed that move by, I think, one more move. So he attacked. I moved my queen out, and after that he took my rook, and I started the Traxler attack, I think, two moves late. So after he attacked my rook, I gave a check to the king. Now, like I said, I I messed up the move order couple of moves. I think initially I should have moved out this this pawn here, because then that my other frees up my other bishop, but I kind of messed it up here, but that's fine. I think it still worked. So I attack the king. Now here the king can do couple of things. King can either take, or king can move to safety. Right? In this game, the player didn't take my bishop. He moved it to safety. Then I took, then I played bishop, wanting to protect this. Sorry, played my knight wanting to protect the bishop. After that, they played their queen out. I then moved my pawn. Like I said, I messed up the move order, and that too I didn't move it to the correct square. I think it was supposed to I was supposed to attack this bishop actually, so that they take, and then I move my other knight here. But yeah, like I said, I messed up the move order completely. And even this knight, actually, it was supposed to go here, from what I know. Because if I were to move it here, if I were to move it to this square, then my bishop would have protected it. Right now, you can see nobody is protecting this bishop. So I got a bit lucky. I think the player didn't punish me, but they had all the scope to punish me. I think here the queen could have taken this, taken this knight easily. But anyways, I'm digressing a bit. So I moved this pawn. Then obviously the queen took, because it was a free knight. Nobody was protecting it. Then obviously the second thing that the most natural move would be to take this bishop. So I wanted to protect it. So I moved my queen here, wanting to protect this. And this is where the fun starts, right? And this is where this Traxler counter attack is such a venomous attack. It takes hardly a few moves. So obviously, Queen, I am pinning this, not pinning, but I am threatening to give a discovered check, right? Once my bishop moves away. So the Queen recognizing, the white player recognizing this threat, they wanted to preempt it, so they moved the king, which was again a big mistake, right? uh, because this is my knight was placed here, and now again I'm threatening check. He moved here, and this is now easy, because there is not a lot of things the white player can do. This square is protected, this square is protected, so the king is completely blocked actually in this position. All you need here is some piece to give check, and it is directly mate, because there is no places for the king to move, right? So one of the simplest way to do that is to threaten checkmate here, and that's what I also wanted to do. So I moved my bishop here, and I I don't know what happened, but when I moved it here, I had this in mind that the king is completely blocked. All I need to do is give a check. So I threatened the queen, wanting it to move somewhere, so that on the next move I could move my bishop here. And I, for some reason or another, after the queen moved, I had a complete brain freeze, and instead of giving a checkmate, I just gave a check here, and yeah, I mean, this is also a okay move, but it just allows white to play and stop the checkmate bit. I don't think it can be stopped, but maybe there is a line, I don't know. So obviously, like, there is no move here, nobody is stopping the checkmate. Like I said, my this is attacking, this is attacking, this is protected, right? So there is no place for this king to go. So the only way to stop this is to put your queen in front of the bishop. Obviously, bishop takes, then white player takes the bishop, and then it's checkmate. So this is where the game ends actually. Oh, sorry, there is one more move. Yeah. So this is where the game ends. But as you can see, like, these were not, there were not a lot of moves actually. If you see, like, from the start, it was hardly a 20 or 15 move game. So it is like checkmate in 8 or 9 moves. So if we count, so this is the first move, second move, third move, fourth move, move 5. So actually, this I played two moves extra here. So move 5, move 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and by this time the game is completely lost. White can't do anything. So yeah, like I said, here. So this was the move 10. So I think played probably one move extra, one additional move I played where I moved my queen. But I think within like 10 moves, this is checkmate for black. So yeah, this is one variation of the Traxler counter attack. So there is another game that I played. This also happened today. So this is the game that we saw right now, and this is another game that I played where you know again this is another variation of Traxler. This game actually ended quite I would say more quickly than the other game. This actually ended in move 8. So here as well, same things happened. E4 was played, black played e5, which is a very standard black opening. Again, you have the knight that is out, knight on f3, my knight also on f6, this knight. So actually, as you can see, I again blundered. Instead of playing this knight out, I played this knight out and I completely left my pawn unguarded. He could have taken my pawn actually. Uh, so yeah, so you can see he did take it on the next move, but he also delayed it by one move. But that's fine. So he took. Then so this is again similar. You can see that even though this knight came this way and not this way, which is the expected line for the fried liver, right? So you expect the knight to attack from this square, but in this case they attack from this square. But the situation is same. Two pieces are attacking the same f7 pawn, and this is where like you need to recognize certain patterns that okay, fried liver can still be executed, and then you have to activate the Traxler defense, right? Uh, so this time you can see like I played the move order well, I think. I'm saying I think because I'm not completely confident I did that, but yeah. So I moved my pawn this time so that my bishop is free, and obviously he took. Then in this case, yeah, see, I played this order correctly because, like I said, in the main line, you are supposed to directly attack the queen once your knight reaches here. You don't allow them to take your rook. That is the main line, right? So I gave a check. In this case, like you saw in the earlier variation, they didn't take, if you remember, right? They moved their king to safety here, right? They moved their king to safety instead of taking. So in this game, the player took my bishop. Then again, I did the same thing. I took their pawn and gave a check. In this scenario, instead of coming, if you remember in the earlier game, the king went this way. In this game, the player chose to go, I think, here and here probably. I don't know. I think in the main line, I did some studying, and in the main line, like when this is attacked, right? I think the best move is not to take. The best move is actually get your king to safety in this corner, in this square. That is the main line, because I think that gives white more options to play their pieces out. Bring their pieces out, maybe even move this pawn and all that. But yeah, so white took, then I gave a check. He went back, and then from the here on, the game was very straightforward. I felt, I first gave a check, they moved here, and yeah, it was like a very bad move from them because they should have, like you can see, the computer is also suggesting the queen should have been brought out to protect, but they just allowed a direct checkmate, because here nothing is going to be protecting the king. And yeah, this is the second game that I won. Uh, So one of the learnings for me this time was to not just focus on the openings, and I think I have been doing that a lot. What I do is I learn a opening, right, like Queen's opening or King's opening or the London system or Vienna. But what I feel is instead of learning only the openings, uh, I should also learn different gambits and counter attacks because those are really helpful. And I think that's what I'm going to focus on. I think yeah, because like I said, most of the game, you're not always going to play white, and you have a big advantage when you play as white because you can choose which, how do you want to structure the game. Most of my games, right, like if you see the games that I play, I've mostly been playing a very conservative positional game. I hardly, like I said, focusing more on my openings in terms of just trying to make sure that my position is solid instead of actually thinking even to attack. It works sometimes, but not always. Like if I were to show you, for example, this game, right? Let's see this game. Uh, yeah, so I did win this game, but if you see the opening, right, it's a very conservative opening. Like you can see again, it's a very standard opening. I'm bringing all my pieces out. Oh, okay, what happened? Yeah, it's a very standard opening. I'm just focusing on bringing my pieces out, so my two knights are developed, one bishop is developed. I'm ready to castle. So yeah, like I'm just so here my opposition, they blundered their queen, and that's basically they lost the game there. But yeah, I mean, most of my openings have been just focusing on, developing my two knights, developing my bishops, getting a solid pawn structure, so that, positionally my opening is good. Because when I used to analyze my initial games during like 400 or 500 level, I found that most of my time, my openings were like very poor. So if you see in the chess.com analysis window as well, right, they give you an analysis of the game in three stages: opening, middle game, and end game. And I found that in opening, most of the time I used to blunder it because you go after something, right? Like let's say white plays plays some pawn here, and then I used to immediately take that pawn. And I think uh, this is a tendency uh, a lot of new players have, that whenever there is a piece available for attacking or taking, you just go ahead and take it. And I used to do that a lot. But like obviously, when you play a lot of games, you find that taking is not really always good unless it improves your position in a way, or it's like preventing some kind of attack in the future, then it's fine. Otherwise you necessarily don't have to take on every position, right? Like for example, if I were to show you another game, right, let's say let's analyze some another game of mine that I played probably today. Yeah, as you can see, I lost many games today actually. Let's focus on this one. Actually, you know what? Let's focus on a game that I lost. So let's take this game actually. I think, yeah, this game I did a lot of blunder. You can see three blunders, right? So let's analyze this game. This is going to be good. So here, for example, when I started this game, it was good. Like, uh, so here for example you can see the computer is suggesting that you should take this because it was a pawn that was unguarded and I didn't take. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, sometimes you have to understand that where you should take a certain piece because it is going to improve your position, and where you should not take it. So, because now I didn't take that pawn, what happened is he got a chance to move and take this square, which means he could attack this and this square, right? So I think that is the main thing that we should remember. If you don't take, the piece can move forward and then they can execute an attack on your side. So this is where, like, I think my game got messed up, because then I had to move this bishop, which I didn't want to do. And I thought, going back to the same square is not a good idea. So let me move it here and probably move it this way and then here. That was my thinking. But yeah, then, he moved here. And then for some reason, you can see, here also I should have taken, but I moved my pawn, because, like, positionally, I think it would have been better to take, but I allowed them to basically take that, because again I wanted to have this solid pawn structure, this chain of pawns protecting each other, and that's why I thought, maybe not a good idea to take. Yeah. So yeah, we were in this position, and here, uh, yeah, now here I knew that I should not take, because uh, I was protecting this piece and this piece, right? And he was able to attack this, so I knew that I couldn't take that. So he took, I took. So here also I made a mistake. Instead of taking with the, uh, sorry, instead of taking with the bishop, sorry, with the pawn, I took it with the knight. And this is also important. Like, there are two things. One is to understand when to take and when to not take. And if you have multiple pieces or multiple options to take, like here, for example, I can take with my knight and I can also take with my pawn. So you need to understand which is the better piece to take it with. And here, I think I messed up, because taking with this knight does nothing. But if I were to, for example, take with my pawn, right? And then he took my white pawn again, then I had the option to take back, right? And my pawn, like, my knight would have been posted here, like on a outpost, attacking, some valuable squares, like this square, this square, this square, right? So these are pretty important squares on the black side of the board, and my knight would have been well positioned at the end of all the takes. After, like, I take, he takes, and after all this sequence, my knight would have been better positioned to basically guard all these squares. So that is where, like, I am still struggling, and I don't think I have completely understood and mastered the art of knowing when to take and when not to take. Like here as well, I had a chance to pin this pin this knight here by moving my bishop here, and basically, he can't move this knight, because otherwise it's check. So yeah, I in this game I think I didn't play well at all. I made some very silly mistakes, uh, and yeah, overall I think this game was just poor. So this was fine, but like here on, I played very poorly. I think I should have understood that my queen doesn't have a lot of room to go away. As you can see, I can't go here, I can't go here, I can't go here. I can go on this square, and that is what I did, but that turned out to be a very bad move. I think the best place was this square. I should have moved here, right, instead, on this blue square, but I moved in a very wrong way, so I can't go here as well. Uh, and yeah, like, this entire line I can't take. I can't take I can't take this line as well. So the only squares uh, that are good for me are this. Sorry, I think I messed up the colors. Yeah. So I think, like I was saying, so this entire red zone is already protected. I can't go here. I can't go here as well. And obviously, I can't take this as well, because the knight is guarding. So I had two options, either to move on this square, or either to move on this shore. And I chose the absolute wrong option here. I moved here. And after that, you can see that my queen is now trapped, right? I can't go here. Sorry, I can't go here. I can't go here. And he basically managed to uh, trap my queen completely. And I had only one escape route, this line, and I managed to block that as well with my own piece. And then after that, it was just game over. They attacked my king. I moved this. Then yeah, after this point, it was like done. So this was just a desperate attempt that if you take my queen, I will take your queen. But yeah, it was completely game over by this point. Like I couldn't do anything, you know. The engine still suggests to take this uh, take this rook, but yeah, the rook will just take back, and I still lose completely. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this position was completely lost by this point. Anything I would have done, it would not have made any big deal. Uh, yeah, and I think I resigned at this point. Cool. I think that's all for today. I will try to find a new mouse because until I do that, I can't really play games on my computer because there is a lot of like mouse click drops that are happening when I'm dragging pieces. You can see like even now it happened. I tried to move it and see, it's yeah. Oh, okay, sorry. Actually, it's not allowing because I'm in the middle of a game. But yeah, anyways, a lot of mouse click drops are happening and I'm trying to move something and it is going somewhere else. So I will try to find a different mouse. Until then, like I think I will be playing games on my mobile for the foreseeable future. Okay, that's it for today. I think thank you for watching. Good night.